Yo, what is going on, guys? Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on The Flash. And today's video will be a theory video about everyone's favorite speedster villain, Eobard Thawne, aka the Reverse Flash. So I'll be theorizing about whether or not will we be seeing Matt Letscher's Reverse Flash return, and also I'll be theorizing about a question that keeps on coming up, and that is if we will ever end up seeing a Reverse Flash Origins episode. So yeah, throughout the show, we have obviously had two actors playing the iconic role of Eobard Thawne, one being Tom Cavanagh, who plays the Welsabard version of the character, and then we have Matt Letscher, who plays the original Eobard Thawne. Obviously, both actors are amazing in the role. They do have their ups and downs with the character, but both of them are great. I think that Matt Letscher plays the psychopath side of Eobard Thawne way better than Tom Cavanagh does, but on the other hand, I think Tom Cavanagh plays the villain side of the Reverse Flash way better than Matt Letscher does. And I also think that his villain to hero interaction with Barry feels more realistic, and I really like the interactions between Tom Cavanagh and Grant Gustin a lot more. But Matt Letscher was absolutely spot on with the character as well, so I don't mind either of them. I really like both of them. I do like Tom Cavanagh's one quite more, but Matt Letscher does capture the role really well as well. But this has been an ongoing debate throughout the show. Some fans like Tom's portrayal of Eobard Thawne, and others like Matt Letscher's portrayal of the character, in which, fair enough, you're entitled to your own opinion, I respect your opinion. As I said, I love both, but one topic which I always see going around is when is Matt Letscher going to return to the role of Eobard Thawne, aka the Reverse Flash, and I personally think that that's a very interesting topic, which is why I'm doing a video on it. But before I go over anything, however, you guys don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you are aware of more Arrowverse content coming your way. So yeah, there are a couple of reasons in regards to why we haven't seen Matt Letscher's version of Eobard Thawne return, and that is simply due to availability of the actor. I believe Matt Letscher was part of another show, and due to scheduling reasons, he wouldn't have been able to reprise his role as the character, which results to Tom Cavanagh ending up doing them because he's also played Eobard Thawne, but also he has obviously been a series regular before The Flash Season 7, so he would be the easier alternative since he is in Vancouver already. But despite scheduling difficulties, Matt Letscher has always said that he would love to return to the role of Eobard Thawne whenever he could. Now, the second reason in regards to why Matt Letscher has not returned to the role, aside from scheduling difficulties, is that it wouldn't make sense canonically. I know Tom Cavanagh being there doesn't really make sense as well because of something which takes place, which I'll get to later on, but because of what they went for on the show, it wouldn't make sense for Matt Letscher's version of Eobard Thawne being there canonically as well, because pre-Flashpoint, Matt Letscher played a past version of Eobard Thawne, one which has not yet murdered Nora Allen, and he did not find out Barry's identity, so that was during The Flash Season 2, so he still had long to go until he became Welsabard. But then we go into post-Flashpoint, where essentially he cheated death since he went with Barry to present day, he dropped him off, and that's where he becomes a time paradox, which results to the Black Flash chasing after him, and obviously we have the negative Speed Force shielding him from timeline changes, so he does not get erased from the timeline, but we do have the Black Flash chasing after the Reverse Flash because he's a time paradox, he's not supposed to be in that specific time period. But we do have Matt Letscher's Eobard Thawne continuing on to Legends of Tomorrow Season 2, and this is the same as post-Flashpoint Eobard Thawne, where he forms the Legion of Doom. The whole event of Legends of Tomorrow Season 2 plays out, and then he obviously gets killed by the Black Flash, and this does either one of two things. We don't exactly know what, but either he was killed and reset back to his timeline, or he was simply just sent into the negative Speed Force. But when we next see Eobard Thawne, it's during Crisis on Earth X, where this time it's back to Tom Cavanagh, in which they still didn't really explain this, but it could either be that this is Eobard after the events of Season 1, whilst also having the memories taking place during Legends Season 2 and post-Flashpoint, or this could be Eobard escaping the negative Speed Force after the events of Legends of Tomorrow Season 2, but maybe he somehow has the memories of the events taking place prior Flashpoint as well, so a future version of himself where he disguises as Eobard. I'm not entirely sure, it could be one of those. Maybe if it is post-Flashpoint Eobard Thawne, he could have traveled to Earth X and killed Earth X Harrison Wells, and he could have taken over his body as well, so that he could form the Earth X team to invade Earth 1. But from the Flash Season 4 onwards, it's always been Tom Cavanagh's version of the Reverse Flash. It's always been Eobard. So it wouldn't make sense if Matt Letscher's Eobard Thawne appeared out of the blue. So if Matt Letscher's Eobard Thawne was to return, it only makes sense if he returns as a younger version of the villain. So just like what happened during the Flash Season 2, where it was a version of Eobard Thawne prior to him even finding out that Barry Allen was the Flash. So where he didn't attempt to kill Barry as a child yet. In which, will we ever see Matt Letscher's Eobard Thawne make an appearance? I doubt it. However, maybe during the final season of The Flash, we could have it so the Reverse Flash is the main villain for both graphic novels. However, for one graphic novel, we could have a younger version of Eobard Thawne, so Matt Letscher's Eobard Thawne, and then for the next graphic novel, we could have the current Eobard Thawne as the main villain. That would actually be so cool to see, because it will allow fans to experience one of, if not both, of their favorite versions of Eobard Thawne, and I just think that would be a perfect structure to the final season of the show. Another way we could obviously have Matt Letscher's Eobard Thawne return is through an episode dedicated to a Reverse Flash origin episode. Now, this has been an episode so many people have wanted to see for so long, and I'm one of those people because the Reverse Flash is my favorite villain of all time. But for an origin story, you will need Matt Letscher's Eobard Thawne, since he is the original Eobard and he's a younger version of Eobard Thawne as well. So it's impossible for it to be Tom Cavanagh playing a younger version of Eobard Thawne. So it makes sense that he could return for that, and that would actually be pretty cool to see, because I would have always loved to see Eobard's journey from being someone who was obsessed with the Flash, and just seeing that transition into him becoming his greatest enemy, becoming this psychopath and becoming his arch enemy. I would personally love to see that transition, because Titans episode 5 did it. Titans season 3 episode 5 did it with Red Hood, and it was such an amazing episode. I would love to see that transition with Eobard Thawne as well, because I think that would just be great. So pretty much, if you're expecting Matt Letscher to return as Eobard Thawne after season 7, that's not going to happen. Like, if it's present day Eobard Thawne from the event taking place after the Flash season 7, it's not going to happen. I'm pretty sure that they are keeping Tom Cavanagh for the older version of Eobard Thawne. But if it's a younger version of the character, then yes, it is possible for us to see Matt Letscher return to the show. But obviously, it does depend on the availability of the actor as well as scheduling, because if Matt Letscher was to actually be available whenever he had the opportunity to return, I think he would have been the permanent Eobard Thawne. I think the main reason why it's been changed to Tom Cavanagh's version of Eobard Thawne was because of that Crisis on Earth X episode where Tom Cavanagh ended up playing the Reverse Flash again. And again, that was because Matt Letscher was not available, so Tom Cavanagh had to step in, and they didn't really explain how he ended up getting the Wells face again. But if Matt Letscher played the Crisis on Earth X version of the Reverse Flash as well, Matt Letscher probably would have ended up becoming the permanent version of Eobard Thawne. But because Tom Cavanagh stepped into the role, he is now the current version of Eobard Thawne we have, and it's only possible for Matt Letscher to return as a past version of the character. And yeah, pretty much if Matt Letscher was actually available whenever he had the opportunity to return, I think he could have been the genuine permanent Eobard Thawne after season 1, unless it was a time travel episode which required us to have Eobard. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. Be sure to tell me in the comment section down below who is your favorite Reverse Flash. Is it Tom Cavanagh or is it Matt Letscher? And also be sure to tell me in the comment section down below if you guys would love to see a Reverse Flash Origins episode as well. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.